Just got your hair did, fresh cut. Where you live, that's the ill grip. The ill grip. Hustle hard, cop a whip, time to flex real quick. That's the ill grip. The ill grip.
Worldwide movement. Yes.
King Sadiq back in the spot, just doing my thing. Maintaining the game, got something new to bring. The energy's high, we all on flex. Here's knocking in the background, claiming they next. We got the dance floor packed, ladies moving so right. King Sadiq making interest, eyes gleaming so bright, seeming so right. We start bum rushing the floor, let the crowd get hyped, people screaming for more. That's exactly how it should be. We all together.
Worldwide movement. Peace, love, respect. Big King Sadiq hollering at you one more again. Apologize for the visibility, folks. I've been seeming to have been doing my live streams at a time that does not provide me the most visibility. So I'll tighten that up on the next one. But still wonderful to see you all. Worldwide movement. Peace, love, respect. Thank you all for helping to continue to build this beautiful movement as we sweep across the planet, spreading peace, love, respect, aiding in everybody's awakening ascension process. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, listen, please like, share, subscribe, right? Please do that. Make sure that we can continue to build this channel. Check me out on all the musical platforms as well. To hear my album, PLR New Paradigm. And again, I'm soon to be getting in the studio for album number 2. All right. Folks, thank you so much. I wanted to talk about something that we can utilize as a tool. It's actually a characteristic, right? Or a concept that we can exercise in our lives. Patience, right? I believe in Ethiopian or one of those dialects. It is Sabali, if I'm not mistaken. But indeed, that attribute, right? Patience, very powerful and very much needed, right? It's also often for human beings something that proves to be quite elusive, right? Is us having and maintaining patience. Because you know how we think, folks. We want what we want when we want it, right? We thought of it then, we want it then, not next Tuesday. That's the way our minds work. But the way that we manifest things into fruition and pull them out of the quantum field into manifestation is not always a blink of an eye thing or even an overnight thing, right? It might not even be something you're able to have or bring into fruition that year. But that, again, is where patience comes in. So, couple of things. I mentioned manifestation, right? And how sometimes the timing of manifestation is not what we want, you know. We can tend to get frustrated, right? And I've spoken with those. I've heard this talked about on other folks' channels and whatnot. The frustration aspect that can come in with mastering manifestation, right? The biggest reason for that is, I would say, our perspective, our ability or inability to apply scope. Okay. Here's what I mean by that. We tend to perceive existence in our own small bubble of reality. And in fact, that is what it is, your bubble of reality. But it doesn't have to be small. And that's where we get ourselves into trouble. In our small bubbles of reality, everything is very cause and effect and simplistic in our perceiving how things work, right? Um, cause, effect, this is what we have. Um, Same way with our desires, right? We desire a thing, or we perceive that we need or want a thing. Then we expect the next thing to follow after that is satisfaction of that need or want, right? Or the perception of it. And in reality, if we were to take an objective point of view on the things that we want, the things that we search for in life, the things we yearn for, feel that we need or desire, if we take an objective point of view, we're able to actually perceive all the things that need to fall in line, or at least some of the things, or the magnitude of things that need to fall in line in order for us to have what we want. Folks, think about it for a moment. If everyone could just snap their fingers and have exactly what they want in the next instant, without giving it any other thought beyond the fact that it's what they want. If we lived in that sort of an existence, you're essentially looking at chaos, right? Because there has been no effort made in a paradigm like that, where it's just I want, I wish, I get. There is no room being made for consequences, right? There's no room being made for ramifications. There's no room being made for changes in what is possible in a given scenario, or what is probable even in a given scenario. There's no real weighing of the immense number of factors that can be weighed into the equation that has to be formulated every time we go to snap our fingers and get what we want, think that we need. Let's try it and take a moment and see what that looks like. Okay, so perfect example. You're driving down the street, you come to a stoplight. Well, maybe you're in a rush, right? You're in a rush. You want to continue. You do not want to stop. You do not want to wait that 1 minute or minute and a half that you need to for the light to go through its cycle. No cars in front of you. You decide to keep it pushing right through that beginning of that red light. Bam! Many of us have been there. And once that bam moment happens, what is the very next thought that you had? Had I only been a little bit more patient, right? Because, folks, we didn't calculate the fact or the other factors at play, like that there are other people who may be in a rush, right? Or may be driving at a brisk pace, right? And maybe not only are they in the same mentality as you are in reference to the traffic lights, you're trying to push the late red, they're trying to push the early green, right? See the chaotic circumstances that you're creating for yourselves, both one another, simply striving for what you want. So much that you've made what you want, more important than even the possibility of ramifications, right? And this is essentially how we live our lives, right? we tend to want what we want again right then and there when we want it, and we're willing to think about the ramifications later. um, and in many instances, we tend to do that, should I say, right? When we don't do that is when we are patient enough to exercise that much wisdom, right? Patience gives us the ability to slow down and refine our examination process of people, places, things, situations, and scenarios, right? Um, it gives us the opportunity to second guess ourselves, right? I don't know if second guess is the best terminology there. Maybe not second guess ourselves, but to affirm within ourselves exactly what we want and why we want it, right? And I believe that process to be a fruitful one. When we have a firm understanding or a clear understanding of exactly what we want, why we want it, why we perceive it as something we would need or like to have in our lives, um, if we're able to do so objectively, right, which means take our own personal want out of it, that perspective of this is what I want, this is what I desire, look at the situation, scenario, people, places, things, whatever you're dealing with at the time, right? And weigh it objectively. What are the factors involved in this? If this plays out, how will it affect me or others around me? How will it affect the particular situation or scenario? It gives us the opportunity to honestly weigh things out and make much wiser decisions and choices. Now, how does that tie into manifestation? Manifestation, folks, isn't just spewing out into the quantum field, this is what I want, and then bam. Manifestation is indeed electromagnetically or magnetically, whatever means in which you are practicing your manifestation techniques. And if you check out my videos, you'll see where I actually did do a video on the difference between the two. But us being able to have patience and to examine that gives us the ability to think ahead of time. Okay, this is what I want. This is what am manifesting. This is what I am concentrating my focus on so that I can manifest it and send that intention into the quantum field. This is what I want to happen. Therefore, once you've transmitted that, and if you had the patience to give it just a little forethought, then you realize, hey, in order for this to happen, there's a few things that I'm going to need to do on my end in order for this to be a reality, right? And then you can do them, right? That's how manifestation works, folks. When you set a reality in position for you to bring it to fruition, you realize anything that you need to do is a requisite on your part to make that a reality, to bring it to fruition. You realize what those things are, right? You realize what that next step is, right? For example, this is what I mean. We can apply this to practical life. Let's say I know I'm scheduled to do a lecture tomorrow at 7. And this lecture is on a very important subject. I know that this lecture is at venue A in location A at 7 o'clock. And it's really important to me that because I realize this subject is not only a very deep and intricate subject that I will have to spend a lot of time on, but I also realize that in my series of lectures, this particular lecture is very key and paramount for me to be able to move on in the series of lectures and be understood by those who are observing, right? Okay, I've got to nail this one. So that's my intention. I'm going to nail this lecture, right? I'm going to do my absolute best. What's the very first thing I know I need? I realize when I'm thinking about it and I'm visualizing it, right? Visualization is a very powerful and important part of manifestation. When I'm visualizing it, if I'm patient enough to think that through, I'm going to realize, excuse me, one of the most important things, if I'm going to do so excellent at this lecture, is that I arrive on time, right? If I arrive on time, I'm going to need to put together a nice itinerary for myself. I need to know where venue A is. I need to know traveling and accommodations for myself. What are the directions? What is my mode of travel? I need to do some things to set myself up to be successful at manifesting what I've already visualized. Now, don't focus so much on the manifestation process that I'm describing as much as how I'm describing how the manifestation process is impacted by my patience, right? It is the patience that I exercise in that manifestation effort that allowed me to visualize what steps are next, right? It would be patience that I would exercise at that light, even though I want to go and I feel like I have somewhere urgent and pressing to be, that 90 seconds that I need to respect, right? Uh, Not only can prevent me from making a horrible mistake and put myself in a bad situation and changing things dramatically, but it also enable me in having success in what I visualized, right? Just by applying patience. Um, Patience can be a necessity in your everyday, in 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 the process of a day. Today, for example, I sort of had a rough outline of what I wanted out today, right? And I had a couple of hours ago got to a point where in examining my day, I wasn't too pleased. I felt like I was a little bit on the shallow end of accomplishment in what I wanted to do with my day. And I realized after I was patient enough to give it a little bit of thought and examination, what it was that I wanted to do and have accomplished in this day. Um, and what it was that I could do and still could attain that would give me the sense of accomplishment that I was after. Um, the things that we want, this is where experience comes in, right? Because I know that with experience, you are able to uncover the fact that most of the things we want to do um, or accomplish in life, we can certainly do so if we are patient, if we have tenacity, and if we have focus. But the first part of that was patience, right? There are many things that I have looked for in my life and expected in my life, right? Certainly wanted and didn't necessarily get it when I wanted it or how I wanted it. But with the application of patience and tenacity, I did get it just exactly what I need and want. And in a way, that turned out to be better for me. Folks, we have depictions in many little cartoons about the little devil on your shoulder, the little angel on your shoulder. What that really is, and representative of, is your consciousness, right? You are able, or should I say, you will naturally, at least at some point, examine your life naturally. The little voice in your head, whatever it's directed you toward, is your consciousness, right? As, or at least some aspect of it. And your higher self, right, has a much better purview, a much better perspective on not only the totality of your life and how that will turn out, but even how your day will turn out, right? And your higher self is always invested in your success, right? So if we take the time to focus inward and to be certain that we are putting ourselves in position to bring the things that we want to see happen to fruition, to manifest them, our higher self will get us on the right path, right? Your higher self will set you up for success. However, when you're impatient, just like running through that light, you tend to take shortcuts. And when you take those shortcuts, then you run right off of the rails of that plan that your higher self had to get you in a position for success. Right? Patience will give you the opportunity to attain and achieve all that you want in life. We just have to not necessarily be so insistent, so impatient, sometimes petulant, right? About not getting what we want when we want, right? Or how we want. Let's make sure that we're patient enough and that we apply patience in a way that affords us the room of wisdom in our actions, so that we are setting ourselves up for success, so that we're not derailing our own plan for success, right? By being impatient and taking shortcuts that don't put us in position, by not following through with the actions that you need to in order to be in position to attain or to have the things that you want or need, right? Patience, folks, patience. Are we there yet? Not quite yet, but we will get there. We'll get there. And that is truly in all things in life. I don't know if I gave you all the best examples of patience, its importance, or how we can apply it. But certainly, if nothing else, walk away with the knowledge that patience is indeed a tool, right? It's a conceptual tool, but it's a tool nonetheless. And when applied, it tends to put us in a mind state. It tends to put us in a mode of action that is wise and that benefits us, and it works in conjunction with our higher self that knows what path we need to take in order to attain or achieve success at what we're after, right? And if we use that tool, when we feel those rumblings of frustration and dissatisfaction at not being able to attain what we want, when we want, how we want. If we apply that tool of patience, we'll find that often those opportunities have not passed us up at all, right? They are still there. It just requires that we apply a bit of patience so that we put ourselves in position and stay in position to get what we want, how we want, even if it's not always when we want it. Right? So let's remember that tool of patience. I spoke before about the powerful tool of perspective, right? This is another tool to put in your tool belt, folks. Learn how to use patience as a tool, particularly in these times, right? And particularly on any ascension path or awakening path, you will need that tool of patience, just as perspective will be fundamentally important to you. You'll need the tool of patience, folks. Often just waking up, particularly folks who have woken up and see the old paradigm, the deception involved with it, and how it really was steering us all to ruin. Well, now you're in a rush to see the new paradigm come to fruition, right? You're in a rush to see that change in everyone. You're in a rush to see and live and exist and thrive in a different world. You're in a rush to see, live, exist, thrive, be the best self that you can be, live your best life in a new paradigm, a new high vibrational frequency paradigm. And there may be symptoms of the old paradigm lingering, right, that test your patience and that might make you a bit frustrated. That tool of patience and how to apply it from within, right, is very powerful in such a situation. You may be dealing with something in your life that is practical and mundane, but is important to you and moving forward in your life, or that you feel is a huge detriment and holding you back from moving forward in your life. You want that rectified now, but that tool of patience might give you the opportunity to apply the tool of perspective or whatever other tool you may need or could benefit from in attaining what it is you're after. Patience is a powerful tool when that concept is indeed applied as a tool, right? Patience can be a very powerful tool. All right, folks, your patience might be up with me. So I ain't gonna keep you no longer. Thank you for chiming in, listening. If you check this out later, please feel free to hit me up with any comments, or you can always email me, folks, if anybody has any questions or statements, whatever. If you want to interact with me outside of the channel, you can always email me at easeuc@gmail.com. easeuc@gmail.com. All right, family. Thank you again. Please like, share, subscribe. Please do that. That is very important. We definitely need the likes. Really want to move to try to build the channel up now, right? We've gotten over the 400 subscriber mark. We want to push and race to 444. Remember, I told you folks, once we hit that 444, exponentially, we're going to supercharge the 4444, right? So let's really work on building up to that. Please like the videos, share them with other folks. Please tell people about the channel, and let's get the subscribers up. Let's get the strength of our worldwide movement building that much more. And again, thank you. I love you all, truly. Big King Sadiq, worldwide movement. I'm out. Peace, love, respect. Worldwide movement. Peace, love, respect. Big King Sadiq. I love you all. Thank you again. I'm out.